consistent feedbacks I heard was that the topic yesterday of fighting, hey there, Brian, of fighting for relationship was triggering because that where people had been fighting for a relationship and the other person hadn't been. Hey there, Gary. The other person had stayed in a place. Hi there, Ryan. Stayed there, either attacking or passive. And what do you do? What do you do? In fact, I mean, some of you all shared some really vulnerable stories of violation that happened because you were fighting for relationship. And so, let me just say right off the bat, if I act like I have all the answers, it's not true. And if I think I have all the answers, I'm deluded, okay? So let's just be clear on that. I'm really wanting to spark conversation about relationship, because literally this is the whole point why Jesus came and died. He came that we might have relationship with him, right? Unity with him, and relationship with each other, unity with each other. And so this is the core thing. Everything else is something that gets in the way of those things. And so what does that look like? So, a lot of times, like when you're the one fighting for the relationship, it's really common with folks who are kind of wired like me, who are caregivers, that's just what you do. You see somebody hurting, you jump in, you're wanting, and a lot of times the main issue is, we talked yesterday about the line down the middle of the table. I've got 50%, you've got 50%. And when I see somebody and I know they want relationship, I know they want connection, we all do, but I can see it, but they don't know how to, or they're struggling, and I go across the line to help them, right? So I was talking with one person, it was yesterday, they were saying, the situation, I'm in a cave and the other person's coming out trying to get me out of the cave. The cave, I would say, is that 5 or 10%, right? They're not coming out to the 50%. We're hiding away in a cave and people are trying to draw us out. The reality is we have to want to come out. And so, one of the huge issues is we keep crossing over the line and doing the work of someone else's work. A great line is, I'm not going to work on your problem harder than you, right? And so I'm going to meet you 50-50, right? But also I'm going to have patience, right? As you're growing, as you're learning. But at the same time, I am going to give you feedback on how I'm experiencing you. One of the situations where I've consistently failed is, again, so this is part of the point where I've gone over to their side, is I make excuses for other people's poor behavior, right? So one of the things, like when you're a parent and you have a toddler and a toddler throws a fit and yells at you or kicks you, you take it, right? Because, hey, they're a toddler. It's okay. But when we are dealing with adult relationships, sometimes you can go, well, I'm the more mature one. They're just acting out. I'm just going to let it slide because, I'm compassionate. No, that is not healthy. That's me going over to their side of the line. And so they've made a mess and I'm sweeping it up. No. See, if people don't smell the stink of what they've done, there's no way that they're going to actually be able to clean up their mess, right? And we all know somebody in our lives who everybody was cleaning up their mess all the time. And what happens? The messes get worse and worse and worse. And then they start blaming everybody around them for their messes, right? What do you have a problem with my behavior, right? And this is a symptom of other people coming across the line and cleaning up their mess. So one of the most powerful things I can do when I stand up at the line is vulnerably communicate how their actions, their behaviors, what they're saying actually affects me. Now, we're going to be real, right? Does that guarantee they're going to hear you? Absolutely not. Not at all. But you can say this. when you do, so again, this is not to play, a game of legalism or anything else. What it is to stand up and use, the psychologists talk about I statements, counselors talk about this. Stand up and say, when you do X, I feel unsafe. Or I feel unsafe when you do X, right? Start with yourself. I feel unsafe. When you do, I feel scared when you do X. I want connection. I want relationship, but I'm not able to come out when, right? It's about, and the reality is they can say, I just don't see it. Okay. When you don't seem to try to hear me and to understand me, I feel that I don't matter to you. Is that true? Right? No, I do. I mean, you obviously matter to me, but I just don't see it. How can I help you see that? Right? It's this conversation. Now, the reality, at some point, people say, that's your problem. Okay. When that happens, I have to pull back, right? So communicating that feedback, listen, it's an art form and we suck at it, right? As people, we're good at giving feedback with a bazooka, or we're good at, and most of us are no good at receiving feedback. Either we're like, yes, it's true, I'm a horrible person, or that's your problem, right? But when I stand up to the line and I give you quality feedback, and I tell you what I'm going to do, right? Not threats, but listen, I can't have a conversation with you when you're yelling. Because I disappear. I want to be here. I want to have this conversation. But when your tone gets really loud, this was something in Masha's and my relationship early on. I'm an intense person. Anybody knows that? I get intense. And I'm not, in my mind, not yelling. I'm just getting intense. But I watched Masha would retreat. She would disappear. And I'm just left talking to myself. She's sitting there, but she's not there. And I had to realize, I had to go, hey, am I being too intense? And so we came up with a code. Hey, you're being a little intense. In other words, I can't show up. It's those kind of conversations, though, that actually fundamentally change a relationship and allow us to come up. But that's the whole point. Coming up to the line is me managing me and telling you how you affect me, telling you how what I need, and then walking that out. And the reality is, not everybody, one of the most painful things is when someone demonstrates fundamentally that it's not worth it. They don't want that relationship because it's just too hard. The cost benefit analysis, I don't want to deal with my stuff. I don't want to change. It's because every relationship we're in changes us. To be in relationship means to be changed. And so that's iron sharpens iron. And so I just really, I want to keep this conversation going. Hey there, Mike. Hey there, Mary. Let's keep this conversation going, because we need to get better at fighting for relationship, communicating with one another. It's called, one of the ways they talk about is brave communication. But also, for those of us who are the type to go over the line, we need to learn to stand at the line. For those of us who are used to everybody coming to us while we're hiding in the cave, we need to begin to recognize, especially if we've got people in our life who keep coming across the line, we need to be able to communicate them. I need you to stay in your line. I'm trying to come out of my cave, but I don't know how to do that. I'm trying. Can you got some ideas, right? Communicating that way, not demanding people of things, but communicating. It will change everything. So give me some feedback. Hey there, Gary. Continue the conversation. But I love you guys. I love the vulnerability that we're having about this. Let's be a body of people who communicates bravely, who